4th of March 25, and I'm continuing to talk about Ukraine, who I fully support. Ukraine, Zelensky, Russia bad, Ukraine good, So, yeah, I'm just looking, it's like, what's that? Is that 4 days since Trump and Zelensky had a sort of spat in the Oval Office? And apparently overnight, Trump stops military aid to Ukraine. Apparently he doesn't actually have the power to do so, from what I've seen, but he says he's paused it, so maybe that's some sort of way he can. I thought it was up to Congress to make that up, but decide that. But I mean, he really has gone dictator full anyway, so that's what Americans are getting, at the moment, it still feels like a democracy, but really, you've got a dictator in there, and he's just starting to change the situation. So I'm against that, But like I say, I think Europe needs to look after itself. Basically, you need to forget America. Really, Keir Starmer definitely wants to keep the ties close and that. But if you've got someone like Trump in charge, and he's definitely going to serve another term if he's still alive and that, still. Uh, so if he needs a vote, but I think he's going to try and change it so that he can't get voted out anyway before then. But if not, he's going to stand for election anyway. So, yeah, Europe really needs to stand on its own feet, really. And as Donald Tusk said yesterday, Europe's got 500 million people, USA's got 350 million. There's no reason why we shouldn't be able to stand alone militarily, So, yeah, we need to start looking that way. And the other thing I heard, this is just things I've heard, so I don't know if they're correct or not. Yeah, J.D. Vance mocks the idea of a European army. Because I think the idea between Trump and Vance is liquor, really, liquor in chief. Um, their idea is to humiliate Europe, but at the same time they have to be totally dependent, they have not to become independent. And we've seen this in Trump already. He said that to the BRICS people, you can't stop using the US dollar as your currency that you do between, You have to keep using the dollar, basically so that they'll still be dependent on America. So that's not very America alone, is it? If he's wanting them to be dependent on them, because Trump's just a basic bully, and you can't please bullies, because they're just always thinking about like making themselves look good and humiliating you at the same time. So yeah, I still can't understand the Trump mindset. He's a very boastful guy, so you've got that built in, just boaster, ego. But I don't know why he wants to be Russia good, Ukraine bad, that sort of thing. So I'm wondering if there's some sort of financial aspect into it, maybe an oligarch's going to give him a lot of money. Apparently, a Russian oligarch bought his mansion in 2008 or something when he was about to go bust, and he paid 2.5 times the going price. He paid about 95 million or something. I don't know what it was. Um, yeah, so Vance was saying the European army. Well, it's a bit laughable to think that they can protect Europe when they haven't done anything in 20 or 30 years, forgetting that they helped America with their things in Afghanistan and Iraq and that, 600 British soldiers died, but why not? I mean, got to start somewhere. Apparently, they thought about it in 2014 probably when Russia invaded Donbass and Crimea, but Obama sort of put them off it, so they didn't take it any further. I definitely think there should be a European sort of military thing, because we don't know how America's going to go now. The next thing, Zelensky says he will sign a deal and apologise. Yeah, he says he'll sign him in a real deal. I wonder if it's any good or not, I don't know. And he's now apologising on that. I mean, to me, there's nothing really to apologise. I mean, everyone knows it. He's not going about in a suit. He's going about in military fatigues. If people don't know that, then they're being ignorant. Because he's been everywhere like that. We've never really seen him with a suit, so... And is that what the reason that something is that the reason that Ukraine could end up being wiped off the map and become part of Russia, even though the Ukrainians don't want to? Is that a good reason? Is that, and then the next one, I saw another interesting thing that Norway might help Ukraine with their $1 trillion wealth fund, because Norway sort of basically saved up money that they made from oil and gas and that. And I don't know how much they've got, $1.5 trillion or something, and I'm now starting to think, well, maybe we can help Ukraine with that, because we're not talking about $1 trillion, we're talking about maybe, I don't know, 20 billion or something, because the interest on that, they're probably making billions a year anyway, they're very fortunate to be in that situation, whereas most countries, well, Scotland, Britain, we didn't make anything for the oil. I think we spent all at the same time, but, it's just one of those things. And apparently, not Eurostar, that's the autocorrect, it's done that, Euros, or maybe it was me, looking at replacing Starlink Internet, because Starlink Internet is very important, and of course that's Elon Musk, and he's just tweeted things, saying like, maybe it's time to leave NATO and that, which I think is fair enough. If America's going to be unstable, fair enough, Um, I think it's Eurostat, that's what it is. Apparently they've got satellites in the air, because that's what you need. You need satellites for satellite thing. And they're thinking, now the EU's thinking of providing the internet for Ukraine, so that would be good, yeah. And I saw somebody in Ukraine saying today that one of the defence guys said they're about 20% make their own military stuff at the moment, and they're looking to put that up to 50%, I mean, Ukraine is supposedly an unbelievable success in innovation to military technology stuff, because it's drones that are the frontline thing now rather than tanks, or whatever. I mean, the Russians are using donkeys, and wounded soldiers with crutches are getting put on the front line to basically just probably to find mines, with their feet and throw crutches at drones and stuff like that. So that's how Russia treats its military. I'll take a look at some Twitter channels I follow. I'm calling it Twitter deliberately. Well, X is not a very good name anyway. So, I mean, when you think Elon Musk, you think Tesla van. Does it look nice? No, it doesn't look nice at all. A Tesla truck, whatever you want to call it. What are they all say? And the Tesla car, personally, to me, it looks like a Ford Escort. It's not very nice on the outside at all, so I'm sure it's a great car and that, but, it looks, everything he touches seems to turn to not very nice, in terms of brand names, or, well, Starlink's quite a good name, but X is a ridiculous name. So let's look at it. This is a good Twitter channel to follow, Military News Ukraine. And one thing it seems on the front that it seems to be stabilising. Russia don't seem to be making any more inroads at the moment. And also apparently they've just recently, in the last week or something, done away with their big, this is how I understand it, they've done away with their big, if you sign on to be in the military, you get a big payment. And I think they've scrapped that this week. I'm not sure, you need to quote. I was watching someone's YouTube thing, but I don't know if I understood it right, because I think they were actually Eastern European. I can understand totally. Although they spoke well, but I had it at 2 times speed, so yeah. Ukraine plans to quadruple the production of long-range kamikaze drones, bringing their output to several thousand per month. Let's see what else is here. The Russians will demand a reduction in their army, official renunciation of the occupied territories, and weakening of the Ukrainian constitution, but they will not succeed. Peace will be worthy. And the other interesting thing is, like, Keir Starmer feels that he's diplomatically doing well between supporting Zelensky totally and sort of keeping Trump happy with his statements and stuff. But I don't think that's the case at all. Trump's going to dump on him. He already has, really. I think he's trying to do it the same way that he done it with Corbyn. Just stay quiet and just wait. It wouldn't surprise me if Corbyn wanted to sack Keir Starmer, but John McDonnell was saying, no, we've got to keep our enemies inside. But that was a terrible mistake. He should have just sacked Keir, really. As you can see how really Keir's made out that he hates thing. He's no friend of Corbyn, he said afterwards, And that's what he voted on, a Corbynista ticket. I don't know why people were Labour activists were voting for him, I don't know. But they seem to be duped by him. And I don't know where they went either, all these Labour activists. Labour members, the ones that got to vote Keir a Labour leader. My impression is nobody likes him, not even his own cabinet or MPs, or no one seems to like him. So I don't know what's going to happen. I don't think it'll last 5 years, but I don't think Labour will last 5 years. I'm not even sure the electoral system will last 5 years. We need direct democracy like Switzerland, basically. Yeah, we in Ukraine have been receiving different signals for more than 1 week, and there has already been a precedent of stopping aid from the US, Zelensky says. Today, many have one question: what will happen next with aid from America? I instructed the Minister of Defence of Ukraine, the heads of our intelligence, to contact their counterparts in the US and get official info. There was a stoppage of humanitarian aid, energy aid. There was also a stoppage of military aid at the end of January, but then everything was quickly restored. We saw the risks, therefore our services, both military and special services, managed to develop algorithms for actions in case of any development in the situation. This is not 2022, now our resilience is higher, we have the means of protection, but normal partnership relations with America are important for us for a real end to the war. None of us wants an endless war. Really, I think they need to go without America, and think of America as pro-Russia, really. Trump threatens Canadian Prime Minister Trudeau with new trade tariffs. Please explain to Governor Trudeau of Canada that when he puts up on a retaliatory tariff on the US, our reciprocal tariff will immediately increase by a like amount. So it's getting really silly. So here's this thing I was talking about, Eutelsat, in talks with EU to expand satellite internet in Ukraine. The Franco-British Satellite Group is in talks with the EU to provide Ukraine with additional internet access. So that's good news. Hopefully it'll replace Starlink, Elon Musk's thing. Today the United States launched a trade war against Canada, their closest partner and ally, their closest friend. Canadians are reasonable, but we will not back down from a fight. And the interesting thing about this is Trump scrapped the old Canada-Mexico trade policy and put his own in the last time, and now he's not following that. So he scrapped his own deal. So some deal maker he is. Not only does he scrap other people's deals and just ignores them, he scraps his own deals as well. So really you can't work with him at all. I think this time, this is one thing that Trump really believes in. Most of the stuff he's not really bothered. He'll go with whatever his base wants, or just anything, really, whatever Ivanka wants. But in this case with tariffs, I think he actually believes it, because apparently America didn't have income tax till about 1890, and it was before that they had tariffs on other countries, which is ironic because the Boston Tea Party was about tariffs, and apparently, according to Grok, it was a small tax, and they would have probably been better off with that for their trading purposes rather than what they done, so that's interesting. Stopping military aid is a temporary pause. The British have sent hundreds of letters asking how to help Ukraine where today and asking to convey words of gratitude. Yeah, this is the thing. There should be a sort of Ukraine fund where people can just donate, on PayPal or however you want. It's not that easy to find. I've not really found any. Um, the government should just have a fund. Here you go, you can pay. I think that should happen for anything. If people want to pay more tax voluntarily, there should be an easy way to volunteer to pay your fund. The government should have a website saying you can donate here if you want to donate to us. You can donate here. You know. Um, it'll be interesting to see how that goes. I mean, I think there's a chance Trump will be replaced, but the only people who can replace him is his support base, because they're the pitchfork crew and they're the ones who might cause violence and stuff. So you have to wait for them to chuck him out rather than say students in the US will be jailed for protests. Trump says agitators will be imprisoned or permanently sent back to the country they came from. So there you go. JD Vance the other day was saying that Europe free speech is in danger, and here's Trump saying he's going to jail people. That's for Palestine. You can protest about a lot of things, but not Palestine. It's the same in Europe as well. And it is ironic because Keir Starmer, he did say when he met Trump and JD Vance, he said he just smiled at Trump, whatever Trump said, really most of the time. But he did say about JD Vance, um, yeah, free speech is very safe in Britain. And which isn't true, because he's been locking people up for tweets. He's locked a grandmother up for 2 years for a tweet which she deleted, which was very tame. And that was under his emergency law. She got arrested on the Monday and jailed on the Thursday. Yeah. So that's not true at all, and that's because J.D. Vance said at the Munich Defence Conference about 3 weeks ago that the biggest threat to Europe is clamping down on free speech and mass migration, which I totally agree with. It's fantastically said. He's a very obnoxious person, but on that, I couldn't agree more. I mean, Putin got Belarus to start Mosul to Minsk flights, charter flights, or daily flights, and the people were then bused to the Polish border, and they were free to do what they want, and they went over the Polish border, So Kurds, I do believe. So who can argue with that apart from the politicians or European politicians? So Keir was trying to sort of make a stance here, but the next day when Zelensky was there, one of the journalists asked about that, and Trump said, yeah, we were talking about this. So obviously him and JD Vance were talking about it and saying that it was a bit of a cheek. Keir Starmer, Keir thought he'd done his Corbynista trick, and he'd made up. He hadn't been a total bootlicker, but he had really, But he actually get pulled up into one thing that he thought he could get away with. And from what he's been saying, well, Keir said yesterday in Parliament that we're going to support Ukraine, and you've got to do that. There's a coalition of the willing, which are mainly European countries, in a conference Keir done on Sunday. Trump's not going to like any of this, and Trump's going to really turn on Keir. He probably has already. And also Trump's going to turn on Farage as well. Farage thinks he can be pro-Trump and have his own opinion on things, but he's totally wrong. You can't deviate from Trump at all, or he'll turn on you. And Elon Musk has already turned on Nigel. 3 months ago, Nigel said, well, a lot of billionaires seem a bit odd, but Elon seems very stable and very nice. And then about 2 weeks later, Elon said Reform need to dump Farage and put Robert Lowe in charge. And to Nigel, that was a total thing. But Trump will do the same thing, because apparently Richard Tice is in Ukraine today, because Reform are quite pro-Ukraine, which is a good idea in my opinion, but not totally, because Farage has got a history of being put on television in Russia, is the speeches they used to make in the European Parliament about Russia, because they were viewed as pro-Russian, and he has said things like, why poke the bear and stuff like that, even though nobody's poking the bear. I'm talking about NATO and that. But yeah, Trump will turn on him big time. He's already has sent warning shots. I mean, Nigel was at the CPAC conference a week and a half ago, and Nigel was there, and Trump said, "Where's Nigel? He's a good friend, or I thought he was," and that's because he said something about Ukraine or something that wasn't really total pro-Ukraine, but it wasn't total pro-Trump either. So I think that was Trump putting a warning shot. They didn't seem to pick up on that, Farage or the media. It sounded like a warning shot to me, but he's going to turn on Trump the same way that Musk did. So here we go. Here's what Donald Trump wrote in this. So J.D. Vance is saying free speech is finished in Europe, or is in danger in Europe. Here's Trump's Truth Social post. All federal funding will stop for any college, school or university that allows illegal protests. Agitators will be imprisoned or permanently sent back to the country from which they came. American students will be permanently expelled or, depending on the crime, arrested. No mask. Thank you for your attention to this matter. So much for free speech in America. Pro-Russian Marine Le Pen condemns cruelty of US decision to suspend aid to Ukraine. Yeah, this is what was really annoying about the right-wing parties in Europe, and also why I don't like party hampers or parties, because I would vote for her on mass migration, same as I would vote for Trump on mass migration, but a lot of the other stuff I really hate, like being pro-Russian and stuff. It is very cruel to Ukrainian soldiers who are participating in the patriotic defence of their country, she said. So, yeah, right-wing parties tend to be, quote, pro-Russian, which I find a shame, and that's why I hate party hampers and parties. I vote on issues, really. So that's why we should have this as electoral system. I think we probably will have sooner rather than later. But the problem is the political class want to stick with their own political systems at the moment. So our representative parties and representative politicians, which is terrible in my opinion. Trump will present his plans to end the war in Ukraine to Congress today. Oh my God. Whatever it is going to be pretty bad. I mean, to me it seems like Ukraine's winning now, just in the last week or something, really. I did think that's because of innovation, technology, tactics. I mean, Russia's using a meat grinder thing approach. As I say, they're putting wounded soldiers on the front line to just walk on the front line with crutches and stuff. They're using donkeys. Only Trump will decide whether to resume military aid to Ukraine. But Zelensky does not want to negotiate peace, the White House said. Nonsense, Polish Prime Minister Tusk confirmed the suspension of US military aid to Ukraine. President Zelensky held a conversation with future German Chancellor Merz. Yeah, he's very pro-Ukraine, so that's good. Again, it's a party hamper thing, because he's also very pro-immigration. He said he's going to be hard on immigration, but I think 2 days after he's elected, he's let about 500 Afghans in. We don't know their attitudes towards their views on women's rights or LGBTQT plus, etc. That doesn't matter. It is ironic because the Greens in Germany have actually suggested that immigrants should have a mental health test. It shows you that the Greens are even ahead of reform on this issue, because they should have a mental health test, a women's rights test, LGBTQT plus rights test. Instead, they've got a pub quiz on history. We remember that Germany is the leader in supplying air defence systems to Ukraine and plays one of the leading roles in ensuring the financial stability. So that's good, but I don't think Merz's government will last very long though. Ursula von der Leyen has presented a rearmament plan worth around 800 billion. Wow. I mean, that's, at the moment, the EU have given about 100 billion, so have the US. Not 350 billion like Trump says. It includes freeing up public funds to finance national defence, a new instrument to provide 150 billion in loans. So this is really good. I mean, 800 billion. Yeah, yes, please. Yeah. That's like 8 times more than, well, 4 times more than probably they've got already. Trump asks Putin to mediate nuclear talks with Iran. In deciding to end aid to Ukraine, the US did not consult with NATO. And here's Belarus are looking for minerals now, rare minerals. We're currently producing about a third of the weapons we need. Our goal is at least 50%. I mean, one of the former NATO leaders said in the US said that Ukraine's miles ahead of everybody else on armaments technology, really. Even the US. He said the US. So now I'll look at one of my other ones that I follow. Oh no, I'll just look at Elon Musk. See, I don't follow him actually. I just find him too obnoxious. Doge fired all their speechwriters. I don't know really. Just like that. Republicans against Trump. This is an excellent one to follow. This is a fact checker, really. And there's Chris Christie. He was another one of Trump's bootlickers the first time round, isn't it? I mean, when J.D. Vance did it and Marco Rubio, did I not think Mike Pence and all the bootlickers that Trump had in his first term, you know, most of them have turned against him. Crazy John Bolton and Trump last year. I think the stock market is going up because I'm leading Biden in all of the polls. A rare Rand Paul W. US tariffs inevitably brings Canadian, Mexican and Chinese tariffs, which means higher prices for lumber, steel, aluminium and more expensive homes and cars. She makes me ill, really. To be clear, the US is labelling punishing tariffs on its allies while discussing easing sanctions on Russia. There's Donald Trump. I thought it was his son he was talking about. Yeah, they're talking about anti-free speech clampdown, free speech clampdown. I don't know what's going to happen to America really. I mean, it does feel risky now, you know. It's the sort of thing I think is very unstable at the moment. Because at the moment it's still safe. It feels still safe, but it's not safe, really. It's getting to that. There's nothing happened so far that's made me think, oh God, we're going Putinesque here. But I feel like it's going to go that way, really. Oh my God, this is State of the Union address tonight. I can't really watch him like because he just talks a lot of nonsense, really. You know, I can watch him maybe at 2 times speed or something. So I'll leave it at that. That's what I find out at the moment. J.D. Vance was called Putin's puppet while skiing in Vermont this week. I don't agree with people shouting at people in real world though. I don't agree with it. And here's Gary Kasparov, he's very pro-Ukraine. Yes, and he's dancing to the Kremlin's tune again. And this isn't a Ukraine problem or a Zelensky problem. Musk and Trump attacked them to distract from their embrace of Russia. But it's Russia that invaded Russia. He said, it's hard to understand. I feel that people like Musk and Trump support Russia just to be trolls, basically, to be the opposite. You know, in Trump's case, it may be some sort of financial thing, but it doesn't make sense. You know, this started in 2016 for the Republican conference, where normally it was Reagan-esque. It was Russia good, no, free trade good, Russia bad, and then at that conference it became Russia bad, free trade. I'll think about it in my second term. You know, with it, and he's bringing in tariffs. So his fan base went along with it. So Trump, well, I'll tell you what, I think it takes two to tango. I mean, I don't know. It really is madness. There's Anthony Scaramucci. He's another one. He was a Trump bootlicker, but now he's turned on him. The market hates Trump's economic policy and crypto dogs pools. Yeah, so then so that'll do for just now. Okay.